In this Halo Wars 2 match, it starts off with me trying to fend off blue and push him back after my hero shows up with my mini, to then posturing up at the left middle using siege, to then taking on a big engagement by two players, and we will see how this turns out. Let's start off at the beginning. Playing as Jerome as yellow, we have red that's playing as UNSC, orange is playing as Covenant, and we're going against a full UNS team. And so I'm immediately going to send my Marine to try and get the supply that's right by the power node. I mean the power instead, to see if I can get that extra boost in power economy so I can try and get my leader out as fast as possible. But I am upgrading my supply pad right away, and I'm starting to get into a habit of trying to use my hot groups or the D-pad in order to get these upgrades going, so I could spend a little bit more time paying attention to my Marines in general on the map, so I'm ready to take engagements if need be. And speaking of which, there's a group of Marines already right there grabbing some power, and so I'm going to send both of my Marines to go after the big power if need be, while I let him go ahead and take that small amount of power in order to get myself a good power boost in general. So second supply pad is being done, but because I chose to make that additional Marine, I actually did have to suffer because of that. And so I'm going to have to build an additional supply pad, which is not something I truly want, but it's something that I'm going to have to do nevertheless. Orange is pinging on the map to go ahead and let us know that they have taken a mini base. So I'm going to presume Orange is playing as Yap Yap. I could be wrong. We'll find out either by the end screen or if I press start at the very beginning of the game, which is something I should start considering doing. Or just a better intro for the players that are playing nevertheless. But it's kind of hard since, right, you can't look at your own replays. I wish you could. Oh my god, I wish you could. But unfortunately you cannot. And so I am floating about 400 power right now, and I haven't really done anything with this power at this moment, which is quite the shame. So I'm using it to hold on to wait till I can upgrade the generator, but I could have easily upgraded a supply pad and then upgraded that generator once it got built. So a little bit of wasted economy right there, but it's okay. That's how we go ahead and get better. And speaking of which, Orange is playing as Yap Yap. We saw the cannon fodder, so that is our teammate. He stole 2 mini base total, which means the enemy is going to go ahead and be distracted for a bit before they go ahead and grab whatever they need in regards to like mini bases and mini slots that they want to use. And so I'm going to be able to grab what I want very well. So I grabbed 1 mini base slot already. We're going to go for time for heroes. Still am trying to think, is time for heroes the best move instead of restoration drone? But as of right now, I do like time for hero because you do get that extra boost in the early game in regards to engagements. So Armory has finally been constructed. We're going to go ahead and get our hero out. We're going to get a Jackrabbit out too to go ahead and try and get some eyes and see what the enemy plans on doing. And Red is doing an excellent job sending in a unit to go ahead and scout. And Orange is keeping Light Blue busy. So I'm going to use this opportunity to work on the nodes. As soon as I started, unfortunately, please don't shoot does go down. But I did just notice that Dark Blue does have a barracks. And since there is a barracks out on the field, I need to start being ready for whatever is deciding to happen. I see that blue is starting to push towards my mini base. I'm going to start bringing them back just a little bit. I am going to go ahead and try and grab a second base because I feel like I can defend based off of what I saw. So we're going to fall back just a little bit to make him look like I don't have much. But my hero pops up right on time. We're going to get that Mantis upgrade. And now we're going to start pushing for a counterattack. We do have a good lead, in my opinion, in regards to what we have. And even if they have flamethrowers, it's just not going to be enough. Orange is getting a good engagement as a whole, and it does look like he is going to try and finesse his army as a whole against me. But with Jerome out, there's not really much he can do. And so now we actually have our third player, which is Red, that is also playing as Jerome. So we have ourselves a double Jerome in this game. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this plays out. We're going to be incredibly strong in the early game, and we'll see how our transition to mid goes over. But because of the fact that we have a pretty strong early game as a whole, I was able to grab that second base, which is always pretty nice. And my Mantis is going to go down, stop the second base expansion that's happening from blue. We're going to retreat our infantry that's with the mini node in order to keep them alive, to go ahead and try and recap that. And we do have at least all the nodes at this moment except for the one at mid, which that's very good power generation. You can't really deny that. I think it's like 80 or 60 power per minute or something like that. I have to look back on that. And so we're working on Tech 2 now, and we are working on a good proper second base. Red's getting their expansion base too. And so I'm just out and about with my Mantis to see if I can go ahead and find anything, any engagements. And we're going to make 2 more additional supply pads. We're going to upgrade our expansion base as well. And now that we have the 3rd point, now is when Master Doms are going to start getting involved. Blue is thinking about grabbing another base, and we do have vision of that. But light blue has a pretty good push that's happening with orange right now. And even though orange is yap yap, that's a lot of flame vets he's going to have to deal with. And so I'm going to keep trying to put as much pressure as possible. I'm causing blue to self-destruct their second base once again. And we are recapping the nodes, which is always a good thing in regards to mid. But red is going to start shifting over. There's a little bit too much units on that right hand side. And unfortunately, I can't really show it, but I can commentate it based off of, oh, there we go. Based off of the fact that, right, this is the game that I am playing. And so we have a double team that's happening over there, which is light blue and green. And because of that, red and orange are going to team up on that right side. Unfortunately, red does have a second base, which is always nice. But now it's time for me to go ahead and try and take control of this game. I have a good 1v1 situation. I am ahead economy wise and army wise, and I want to see if I can take advantage of that. So we're going to start with Master Dom Productions. Dark blue is continuously trying to grab that second base that I have been denying over and over again. Finally getting that infantry upgrade, and now it's all about taking engagement such that I don't lose an army, such that I can put them in Master Doms when they come in, and I can go ahead and do as much damage as possible when the time comes. So we're going to start making these Kodiaks. The play is, since I have such a strong position on this mid side, left mid, I want to be able to deal with that appropriately. And mines do come down, Sentinel drops does come down as well, and it does look like we're playing against an Anders as blue. So blue is trying to get some siege up, as well as just being able to get some sentinels coming from that siege. So we're just going to fall back just because this is not really the best engagement as a whole for us, but a lot of leader abilities were used, which actually helps us down the road. I'm going to go ahead and make a couple hornets, and these hornets have only one job and one job only, and that's just to go ahead and just go after the Kodiaks that are there in the back. And so I'm not really trying to go mass there or anything like that, but I do want to like mix in a couple of hornets to go ahead and deal with that. And so now we're going to have our first Kodiak up, and we're going to get those Marines into these Master Doms. And it turns out I made a little bit more Master Doms than what I have infantry. That was definitely a miscalculation on my part, but there's not much we can go ahead and do about it. But we do have the siege that is now starting on blue, and we do have a good position in mid as a whole. We will make additional supply pads because we are going to need it, and we're going to make a couple more hornets, and now we're going to have to get ready for this engagement that's going to happen soon. So we do have combat mechanics, which is always very nice to have. Dark blue is starting to move out, and this is going to be my cue to see if I can sneak on by and focus down on the base if possible. But it does look like blue is going to just try and take out my Marine that was postured up on that ramp. So I said, you know what, it's not really worth it at this moment. Let's see if we can get a better engagement. We're going to send our 3 hornets to go after the Kodiaks, and we're going to see if we can trap blue's small army that is over here. We missed the Mantis drop, but we are coming in to focus down with the hornets on the enemy base. And now Jerome is going to be able to take that out. If not, the siege definitely does. And even though we're getting sieged ourselves, we are focusing down these Kodiaks right now, which is always a lovely thing to see. We're going to get that reinforcement upgrade because we need it. And now a please don't shoot is being called as well by our own teammate. That's unfortunate timing, mainly because I finally had a response for it. But we do have the siege, we are getting the upgrades, and we have a bunch of supply right now. So I need to figure out what I'm going to do with it, and I'm going to go ahead and get another gen because of it. We are going to retreat our hornets for now, mainly because of the fact that that hornet just won't be able to get the job done because Wolverines are starting to show up. And now green has shown up in this fight as well. So I'm going to start retreating just a little bit. I do want to deal with that Kodiak down the line, but I'm going to have to be a little bit more patient before that opportunity arises. And so we're going to get closer to this big battle because red and orange are finally doing a good job breaking that right hand side with light blue in that expansion. And here comes green. Green's thinking about pushing, but my two Kodiaks are starting to push them back, and we're getting some good damage in that regards. And so we're going to upgrade that gen, and we're doing some pretty good pressure in my opinion on green. And so we're going to try and see if we can meet them coming up this ramp to see if we can get ourselves a good engagement over here. And so while we're setting ourselves up, there we go, we're going to have ourselves an engagement of some sort. We're going to start focusing down on the first grizzly tank. We do have our hero and the Spartan morale that is ready to be called if need be, and we're doing a lot of damage here so far. We haven't really lost anybody yet, or Masterdom for that matter yet. There is one getting a little bit weaker, but we do have spare Masterdoms because we bought more than what we need to. But we end up actually getting through a lot of green's army, at least damaged a lot of it. And now blue is starting to come over as well. So I'm going to go ahead and retreat just a little bit. We did lose a Masterdom that had a couple of infantry in here, unfortunately. I want to fall back just so that my Kodiaks can be a little bit more involved in this push when we try to defend. And so now we're in a situation where we're going to be put into a 3v2 situation. Now I'm just going to keep on falling back just a little bit more just to try and get myself a better engagement while the siege is still going. And now we're going to focus down on that Forge Hog, since that Forge Hog is giving that defense boost. We were able to get rid of that, and now we're going to start focusing down on the Grizzlies. We got siege going on, and it does look like all that's left is Warhogs, Wolverines, and Nightingales, and we do have the comp that can go ahead and deal with that. Grunt Mine comes down to help kill some stuff, and we essentially held off a 2v1. That was pretty good. We got rid of the Kodiak that was associated to. That was a misclick. I know that feeling all too well when you're trying to set up a Kodiak and it just doesn't work out. And now we're going to start clearing out the rest. We do have a scout, a jackrabbit, that's going to help give the extra vision so we can go ahead and take out the remainder of that base. We're going to make more Nightingales, and we're getting the upgrades that we need in order for us to finish this game as a whole. And so siege is going down. There's huge momentum on that right hand side with red and orange, and because of the fact that I helped reset green and dark blue is not really in a good spot anymore, this game is pretty much coming into a direction where it will probably end soon. And so there are some Kodiaks that will be a problem, and there you have it. We have green leave the game first. Looks like he figured the game is over. If not, it was light blue. Yep, light blue is the one that left first, excuse me there. And now green is self-destructing their base, and I'm going to come in and get rid of the rest of these Kodiaks because there's nothing really left supporting it. And all in all, this was a pretty decent game as a whole. I think it was worth showing just because of the fact that that 2v1 came in, and I played patient. I kept falling back, and I kept trying to cycle my units and target down the Forge Hero as well in order to go ahead and be as efficient as possible in that engagement. So all in all, pretty cool game. And our teammate on the right hand side with the Jerome and Yap Yap came together to do a lot of good stuff on that right hand side and get rid of that disadvantaged position that they were in. So it's unfortunate that Anders calls this ability because now we have to wait the full amount of time until they time out of the game because they have no more bases. But all in all, I think this was a cool game to show. Everyone now is getting together at mid, try and take out these Sentinels if possible, but as I mentioned, there are some that will be able to escape. So we will have to wait a little bit before that is over. But with that being said, I'll go ahead and say my goodbyes in advance. And so I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, give a like, give a subscribe or a comment or any of those. If not, it is all good, no worries. You have yourself a magnificent day. Enjoy the rest of it. And now I will talk about the end screen. We had Blacked.com 457 playing as Anders, who went 71 units lost for 20 units destroyed. Finesse Bear Cutter went 43 for 43, evened out. Carlos Phoenix 1075 went 34 units lost for 21 units destroyed. Myself playing as Jerome won the economy game all hands down, 16 units lost but 81 units killed. And then Apple Pie playing as Jerome, 6 units lost, 48 units killed, and I am X wanted. Playing as Yap Yap wasn't that efficient, but was making the units needed to go ahead and win that. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and say goodbye one last time. Have yourself a good one. Have yourself a splendid one. Until next time, I hope you enjoyed this. That's about it. I'm out for good this time. G out.